Hi, this is Stephen Selikoff from the Canton Fair Experience, and you are watching Shopkeeper TV with Paulina.
Hi, Stephen.
Hello, Paulina. How are you?
Hey, good. Where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from Seattle, lovely Seattle.
Lovely Seattle. Right. I've been there once in the summertime. So is it nice and good weather right now in there?
Today, yes. Tomorrow, who knows? We're at the point now where we go from beautiful summers to misty, rainy winters, and July it'll be gorgeous again. But
Next
you and your
July.
husband have to come back and visit again.
Well, definitely will. Well. Actually, we do plan to go across the pond next year sometime to attend some conferences like Prosper Show and other seller-related conferences. So we may just visit you. You never know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, you know why I called you today? You are co-founder of the Canton Fair Experience, and I have recently chatted with Amy Weiss, who's your partner, and
Mhm.
she actually told us a lot about that program that you have where you help people to source the products and you bring them to Canton Fair. And I'm actually personally going to China this year and will attend a few conferences, being Global Sources Summit and Cross Border Summit. And I know that your meetup is right in between the two, so I could
In
actually
fact,
attend.
it would be great if you come up and meet us up in Guangzhou during the Canton Fair, and then I'll be at the Global Sources Summit talking about negotiating. So we'll meet up there as well.
Oh, great! You're a speaker too. Oh,
Yes.
this is fantastic. I'll be a speaker as well, so I guess we'll get to shake hands in
We'll
person.
wave across the stage.
Yeah, this is great.
What
So
day will you be speaking?
I am not so sure. I have to check my calendar on that. I could quickly tell you that. Okay,
I think
so
I'm speaking on the 27th, but I'll be there on the 28th as well.
28th is my talk, 11:30. That's the one.
Okay.
My topic is pricing psychology. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it's a very curious topic for me, so I totally love it. Stephen, today I called you because I have so many sellers who are beginners and I keep trying to motivate them to start, and you are with Amy, you are co-founders of a course where you help people to actually go over the hump of being stuck, of wanting to start the Amazon business and never actually getting to it, right? They get stuck in that product research phase, which is you just start researching, you feel like you are doing something, so you feel like there's progress, but actually you don't get anywhere because you want everything to be perfect for the first time. So I was hoping you could give me some advice, what I could recommend to those sellers. What can they do to jump over that hump faster? Like today, what can they do today to feel some results? What
So
could you
let me
say?
give you advice for the head and advice for the wallet.
All right.
For the head, I have a little sign on my wall that I use, kind of an affirmation. And what it says is being afraid of things going wrong is not going to make them right. So just relax. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. Just pick yourself up and keep going. Making mistakes is the best way to learn, and I've made tons of them, some quite spectacular. The practical part for your wallet is very much what we do with the Canton Fair Experience. With the Canton Fair Experience, we have the program is two parts. The first is a course where we take everyone through the steps that you need to prepare and really build a business. And our system is different than the traditional Amazon. Find a successful product, put something similar up there, get a piece of the pie, rinse and repeat. We focus on new ideas, new products, finding market gaps, using market research, validation to make sure there's customer demand. But the goal is the exact same, which is to find a profitable product. And we always say 7x minimum, 10x in the middle of this, trade wars thing. And that's the product that you want with little competition so that you don't have your race to the bottom once you post. And then the second part of the program is going to the Canton Fair. And our program sets you up for success at the Canton Fair. But if you're if you're stuck finding a product, there's nothing that keeps you from going to the fair yourself. It's incredibly easy. Just Google Canton Fair and you can register online. And this is the part that surprises everyone. The price to fly to China and back again is incredibly inexpensive. I was looking at flights for someone we're inviting to join us, and over this weekend, the prices were down to $482 from round trip from Seattle. So for less than the cost of sending, well, I have a lot of, I've got large products and so on, but there are lots of times where it's less expensive for me to fly to China, to check out production samples, to meet with the factory and fly back than it is to pay for shipping by FedEx. So it's very, very affordable. So the best thing for your wallet is just get on a plane, go to China. Sounds scary, but it's not. Guangzhou is the third largest city in China. Go to the Canton Fair and walk around. The Canton Fair is an experience that completely change your business.
So what's the strategy once you get there? Isn't that a bit overwhelming to see so many products out there? Should you, like, what's the strategy? Should I already have an idea? Or am I just looking for inspiration?
It is huge. It's the size of 3 airports, 217 football fields.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It is absolutely gigantic. You will see things that your competitors don't sell. You will see things from factories that you have not seen on Alibaba. And let's talk about that for a moment. First of all, the factories, when they have something new, they're not going to put it on Alibaba and let their competitors see it. They wait for the Canton Fair in order to debut it. And second, they're focused on making product. They're lucky if they have one person who can take time away from their sales to actually go on Alibaba, update their photos, put their photos up there. And these established factories will have thousands of products over the years, and they can't put thousands up there, let alone their new things. So you're going to see in person what you are not going to see on Alibaba. So number one, in answer to your question, have an open mind. The second thing is, if your system, like ours, is to have a unique product or something that's highly modified that differentiates you yourself, then go in there with a sense of what you want to pursue. Now, you don't need to know the exact product, but it helps tremendously to know the niche. So, for example, if you're interested in the pet niche, and that's fabulous. In the United States, there are, at least in the Washington state where I live, there are more households with pets than children. In the United States, people spend more money on their pets than they do on movies, on music, and on video games combined. So let's say you say, okay, I've done my research. I want to go into the pets niche. Then you can go to the Canton Fair and walk around the pet section. And even within the pet section, you will see products that you have not seen before, or you'll see variations on products that you've not seen before. So that's tip number 2. And tip number 3, know your customer. Obviously, if you're going to pets, it's a lot easier if you are a pet owner yourself. But understand, and first imagine, and then understand your customer, your avatar. I've seen leashes at the Canton Fair that would retail for over $100. They're fancy, and they've got lights, and they've got a phone charger in them, and they've got like little jewel type candles
phone
and stuff
charger
like that.
In the leash.
Oh yes, oh yes. And they had giant video screens, and they had gorgeous models. And I used to be a fashion photographer, and I know what a gorgeous model is, standing there posing with their leash in their hand. That's a very high-end, high-spending customer. That's your customer. That's where you want to be. Your customer is more budget conscious, then you don't worry about that one, and you walk right past it with blinders on. So that's how you make sense of this incredibly huge fair.
It's interesting that when I'm teaching about pricing psychology, I actually always say that you have to start thinking about which bucket of customers you will target. Is it going to be the luxury buyer or the bargain hunter? Or is it somewhere in the middle? Like, you have to look at your competitors and first know the bucket. After that, you can choose the same knife sharpener could be in all the three. Like you say, the leash could be one for the bargain hunter and one for the that fancy one with the charger in it. Right.
Yeah,
It's
it
interesting.
is. It
So
is. And when it comes to like prices, my favorite story is Chanel. They launched as the most expensive perfume in the world. You know, husbands couldn't tell whether it really smelled better than the next one, but they knew if they forgot, their wife's birthday, they better show up the next day with Chanel in their hand and ask for an apology because it was known as the most expensive perfume. So sometimes high prices are exactly what you want. You want to spoil your pooch. You want to make sure your doggie is spoiled better than the one next door. Then you want to spend $100 for a leash.
So what's the practical approach? Let's say I walk around and now I know I'm looking for some cheaper product, let's say, okay? And I see something in the pets category that I like, but I guess most things that will attract my eye is sort of whatever is, either jumping or blinking or that kind of thing. So it's not gonna really stand out to me if it's somewhere in the corner. So how do I put my mind to it to look for specific item? Or rather, when I come to the booth, what's the next thing to do? Do I take a picture of it and walk away and later look it up on Amazon? Or what's the process there?
So I'll do a plug because
Okay.
the Canton Fair workbook, you can get this on Amazon for $10 and change. And when you do find your product, you go in there and you literally have all of the questions that you need to ask is right here in the book.
It's convenient.
So it makes it very, very easy.
Could you tell me a few
In
questions?
China, is there a Russian version?
No, can you tell me a few questions from that that I
Absolutely.
All
I
right.
think everybody knows to go in and ask the price, and then they go in and they ask the MOQ, the minimum order quantity. And then they stop. They don't know what to ask afterwards. So just starting on the minimum order quantity, they may say the minimum order quantity is 1,000 units. And you're thinking, I'm just starting out. I want to buy 200 units, and maybe I should find a trading company or something because I can't afford 1,000. That's okay. Your next question, and it's listed right here in the book, is to ask, what about a surcharge? If I get less than the MOQ, can I have a surcharge on each unit? They say yes, and they probably will. Then turn around and say, can this surcharge be refunded back to me as part of my next order? Because I want this to be successful. You want this to be successful. We want to make money together. So let me try it out. 200 units, I'll pay the surcharge. If this sells great, I'll pick up 1,000 on my next order, but I want you to refund the surcharge back to me so that it all washes out and you're not paying anything extra.
That's a
So
nice
that would
try.
be your next question.
Yeah.
And then there's all sorts of other questions about the factory, where they're located, because China has development zones. So if you're doing fabrics, you want to be, Wuxi, Hangzhou, you want to be around the Shanghai area. If you're doing electronics, Shenzhen, and so on. Price breaks for high quantities. So, okay, so I'm buying 200 today. I'd love to buy, 1,000 if this goes well, but no one else has this. I could really, corner the market. We could talk about exclusivity, but if I start buying more, where are my price breaks? You talk about them right now. So there's no surprise. By the time you order 2,500, you're expecting that price to come down. And then lastly, just on the price, and you and I both know that price is so critical to making a profit. You turn around and you ask about your payment terms. I've been doing this. Well, I started importing from China in 2005. I started on FBA October of 2006, less than 30 days after it was announced and launched. Back then, everyone talked about terms. It's only since the FBA gold rush and all the gurus that people start saying 30/70. But talk about terms. How much do you want to pay up front? Do you want to pay 20% up front? Do you want to pay another 40% after it's passed inspection, another 40% upon BOL if you're shipping FOB? You can do all of that. You can say by my third order, I expect that I'm going to be paying 0 up front.
Hmm.
You say, by my fifth order, I expect to be paying 30 days after receipt. That's perfectly okay to have that conversation now, when you're first negotiating. And all of that is in the book, including some tips for negotiating as well, including pages of questions if you visit the factory. But I would say the most important thing is you are not a retail store. You don't have to write an order at the show. So while you're there, meet them, talk to them, take a selfie with the rep so they remember who you are. Get
Okay.
their WeChat ID so you can communicate with them. Get their business card. Again, in the book, there's a little place to staple their business card, and every booth has a stapler.
Oh, great.
Um,
Okay.
but this way, you start a relationship. You can start the negotiation, what we call the long dance. And you can bring the price down more when you follow up with them after the show. So all of those questions are important, but frankly, you can get this on Amazon, and you can very easily have all the questions in front of you. Don't have to worry about that. It's simple.
So I'll ask
So,
you another like straightforward question, a little bit blunt and maybe insulting to someone. I'm like that. So there's this question. Chinese are famous for ignoring the patents, kind of breaking the rules at times, and a little bit doing a lot of gray area things when it comes to any business that they do. And that sort of makes me feel worried now about when I come to the booth. Is there something that I should be aware of, like what to be careful of when they either say or present themselves as if? Is there something that I should be aware of that could be that they're trying to show something that is not? I don't know. Is there
so
something?
if you see something that has Mickey Mouse or the Avengers or Star Wars or famous football teams or whatever, there's a good chance that they do not have the license to sell those things in the US. Now, you just can't go up and say to them, is it legal for you to sell this? Because for all you know, they may have taken a license that says the Hulk or Iron Man in China. They don't have the Marvel Comics license or anything like that, but they may have even trademarked the name Iron Man in China.
Hmm.
So they can sell it possibly in China. It's actually much more probable they're just ripping them off. But there is a chance they can turn around and say yes, and be honest about it. What you need to do is you need to ask, can I sell this in the United States? And
Hmm.
make sure they say yes. And then when you write up your agreement, you make sure that you say, supplier states I can sell these in the United States. But if you see something that gives you a question, go with your gut. Now, the other side of that coin is you have a wonderful product. You've got Paulina's hair bands, and they're in wonderful designs that you made and only you, and they light up, and they have a phone charger in them.
Awesome hairbands.
You want to protect yourself, and you need to make sure that you not only consider your IP in the United States, your trademark, copyright if there's a design. Remember, fabrics have copyrights, and so on. But you also want to do that in China because it doesn't cost much more. China is a first to file country, and an IP attorney can walk you through all of this. We teach this in the course as well. But you want to protect yourself from having China turn around and copyright your fabric design, trademark your company name, and so on, and then sell it to other sellers, or worse, block you from being able to export because you can't export if you don't own the trademark or if you're doing somebody else's trademark product.
Do you think it's a good idea to ask something like, "Are you on Alibaba?" Because I would hope that they're not, and then my competitor cannot find them easily. Do you think
It
that
is
some of them?
absolutely brilliant, and it is a great thing to ask, and you'll be surprised at how many are not. And even if they say they are, then you can turn around and say, "Oh, but is this on Alibaba?"
Hmm.
Then you're interested in buying, and they say, "Oh, no, that's not on Alibaba." And you say, "Okay, well, if I buy X number of them, will you keep it off of Alibaba for the next 6 months?" and they may agree to that.
Okay. So very often the person that I talk to at the fair, is that going to be like a sales rep, the same rep that I will work with later? Like, or do I get to talk to actual manufacturer, or is it just a hired person for the fair? What do you think?
I love this because you're asking all the questions that we go through in our course and many, many more, obviously.
Okay.
But it's up to you. If you walk in, the first person that's going to be there to help you is going to be friendly. They're going to be young. They're going to be energetic, and they're probably going to speak English. And that's because they're college students that have been hired specifically for handling the booth, just like you would do here in a trade show in the United States. If you're luckier, you'll actually get a sales rep, again, who probably speaks English, and they're more knowledgeable about the product. I'm, on the other hand, I'm an absolutely horrible person because I walk in and I smile and I say thank you. Then I ask to talk to the boss. And that's important for negotiating because you are the president, the CEO, the founder of your company. I don't believe in this story about putting down some fake title on your business card or so on, because it doesn't help you. Uh, Even as a small company, you can make large purchases. Factories know that. And it's an Oriental culture. The Oriental culture is kings negotiate with kings.
Hmm.
So if you want to negotiate with the owner of the factory, you better be the owner of your company. And if you tell people, no, I'm just a very lowly purchasing agent and they sent me off to China for the first time and I'm lost, then they will set you up with a college student who's going to give you higher than normal prices, who's going to, talk to you and get rid of you because you are the lowest person on the totem pole, and that young man is the lowest person on the totem pole, or young lady is the lowest person on the totem pole, and you guys talk and say goodbye. The interesting thing is if you're there for more than one phase, you might see that person in one booth selling, I don't know, headphones during phase one. They might be selling pet leashes in phase two, and they're selling blankets and bedspreads in phase three. So for me, I always ask for the boss and I talk to the boss.
Hmm. Okay, it's very interesting. I don't know. So let's say if I go there in Turkey, they always offer tea. Anywhere you go to buy a washing machine or whatever, get insurance policy, they always offer tea. And if you say no, it's considered rude. You have to drink the tea. So is there anything like that in China? Do they offer any coffee or
First of
something?
all, there is nothing like Turkish tea or Turkish coffee anywhere else in the world. It is incredible. It is a treasure.
Great. Thank you for that.
So at the fair, they're not going to offer you tea. They're not going to offer you coffee. They may offer you water. Be aware that, and if I haven't said it before, the fair starts in a month. So if you're looking at sourcing, look into it right now. This is the best time possible. But it's also very warm there. It goes in Fahrenheit 70 to 90 degrees during the day. So they are going to give you water, and they're doing that because they're trying to be helpful and stuff like that. Later on, if you visit their factory, there's a whole different culture. They'll take you out to a meal. It's a long day that you spend together. They will have tea for you. I've had factories give me a selection of teas, all sorts of them, from buckwheat tea to uh, green tea and everything in between. But at the fair, it's people coming in, making purchases for their own stores and so on. Amazon's not the big driver of the fair, it's retailers are. And they want to be able to give that information. They want to make sure that customers are happy. So they don't have the time for the relaxed get to know you tea, which is traditional in China.
Interesting. So then there is an opportunity after the fair to meet with the manufacturers that I was more interested in, right? If they're from the area.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. You're in Guangzhou, so it's very easy to get to electronics factories in Shenzhen. In fact, you can find factories within a train ride in all directions of Guangzhou very, very easily. And if you've got factories that are around Shanghai, it's a very inexpensive and quick plane ride to get from Guangzhou to Shanghai and then take a train to Shozhou, Wuxi, Hangzhou. Yiwu is another place you can go to. That's an easy plane ride.
Yeah, I know Evu. Well, I sell apparel and accessories mostly come from Evu, and apparel comes from Guangdong province. I don't
Which
know.
is that is the province that Guangzhou is in, so it's very easy to get
Okay, so that's great. And my freight
Oh
forwarder
yeah,
is in Shenzhen usually. Yeah, she just manages everything. So I'm looking forward to meet them all, my sourcing agent and some new factories, just, to feel the experience and get some inspiration. Usually what I do is my strategy is not to go and do the straightforward thing, which would be choose the products. It's more like I am thinking about something else completely, like a new product line in my apparel business, but I'm gonna look at the pet leashes. And I'm gonna see some ideas. Oh, we're adding the charger in the belt. Oh, so maybe in that dress there could be this charger and that, I'm basically copying those
exactly.
ideas to something else. And that's what I plan to use the fair for personally.
It is incredibly inspiring. You'll see all sorts of wonderful, fun new things. You'll start thinking about your current products in new ways. And then as you meet with your factory, you can talk about ways to change them and stuff like that. I will advise though, before you go put a charger on the belt of your latest outfit, one of the things that we stress at the Canton Fair Experience is customer validation. We actually go through 14 different ways of validating, but you want to buy something that customers actually find value in. So customers, they may not find value in having a cell phone charger attached to your belt. On the other hand, they might find great value in having earbuds attached to your hoodie. So
Hmm.
you always need to
Interesting.
validate that this is something customers want, not just something to be different. And here's a pro tip. I know that there's lots of gurus that say find something on Amazon that's already selling, look at the reviews, find out what people are saying and change it like that. I advise against it because these days there are 30,000 people joining Amazon every single week.
Yeah.
Most of them are quitting 2 months after selling. They're doing the same thing. They're looking at the reviews. They're saying, aha, somebody wants this to be slightly larger or smaller. They want it in the color red. I'll go do that. And by the time they're ready to post it, there are 30 other people posting the same variation they're having. I suggest doing exactly what you just said, which is use your imagination, use your creativity, know your customer. And you can go and see the leashes and say, oh, there's something cool on the leashes that I can apply to my product. Validate it. And we go through all of this in the Canton Fair Experience. Validate it, make sure it's something customers want, and then bring it out because nobody else is going to be doing that. And years ago, Amazon, the challenge was getting the price right. These days, the challenge is being able to put something out there that the competition does not have. So you don't have to worry about deep discounts and stuff.
Yeah, I like original products as well. Then you can charge more. That's what I teach in my program.
And not only can you charge more, but one of the great things that we talk about in the Canton Fair Experience is you can also move into other platforms. You can sell into brick and mortar retailers. You can sell in big box stores. You can sell in specialty stores, independents, gift stores, home goods stores, pet stores if you have that fancy leash, and so on. Can I give a quick plug during the
Sure.
Canton Fair for anyone that goes there? We
Yeah.
are having a free seminar on October 4th about expanding from Amazon into retail. And we'd love to see people come and visit. They can message me. I'll send you the link as well.
Is this
But
on my
when you
website?
do exactly what you said, unique products, you can sell to retail and make tons of money.
Let me check. Is that mentioned on your website somewhere?
Yes, where it says Canton Fair Meetup.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay. So it's on Thursday. Wait a minute. I think Amy already mentioned that one and I have put it on my calendar already. Yeah, I think so.
That's because she's the smart one of the two of us. I'm the good looking one.
Yes, you are. Wait, so okay, so I was just looking at my calendar here for the China trip. Yeah, I got it here. So Amazon Seller Meetup,
Perfect.
AMV's
Yep.
Canton Fair. So is that free then, you said? Free
Oh,
for
that's free. That
okay.
is free.
And how many people do you expect to attend?
We don't know. We had a similar networking thing in April, but it was just a party and over 40 people showed up.
Oh, nice.
But
Okay.
the hotel is fabulous, and we've got special guests, and we're going to have role playing, and we'll be talking about the top 5 things you need to do to get into retail. So
Okay.
we absolutely would love to see people there.
So what are the actual dates for the Canton Fair? Does it start on 21st or like when?
So our program starts on the 21st because we actually have training before the fair. Then we also take everyone to a couple of factories so they can go back behind the scenes, talk to owners, learn what it's like to visit a factory and so on. But the fair then, phase 2, starts on the 23rd.
23rd, okay.
And as I said, there are 3 phases. Each one's about 8 days apart. So the first phase, I believe, begins on the 14th of October, and that's electronics, electronic consumer goods. So your battery chargers, your GoPro imitators, your cell phone stuff, your musical instruments, and so on. Also, auto parts and auto repairs, big machinery. Phase 2 is all CPG. That stands for consumer packaged goods. And CPG are gifts, holiday stuff, kitchenware, bathware, house decor, ceramics, pets, stationery, and all sorts of most things that people purchase and sell on Amazon. And then phase 3 is apparel. So you've got menswear, women's wear, you've got children's wear, you've got shoes, you've got sneakers, you've also got camping goods and sporting equipment and DMG, which is durable medical goods. It's so big they have to split it up into 3 phases each per week.
Great. Let me like this page.
There we go. I love that. Absolutely.
All right. Now you have 272, which is +1. This is great. So, all right. So I guess I'll see you there at Global Sources Summit and at Canton Fair Meetup. And I'll tell you all about my experience walking around and did I get any new ideas or not.
Wear comfortable shoes. There's a lot of walking. In April, I put on 103.5 miles on my step tracker, which is a lot. Now, granted, I'm constantly going from one complex to another to help the people in our course, but that's still a lot of steps. And I need to do that because I need to lose weight. So comfortable shoes are still important.
If you said this like 3 airports, I guess, that's a lot of walking. I don't know if I can exchange my high heels for anything. I'll see about that. Maybe I'll have extra shoes in the backpack.
You see, that's always stylish. I like to get dressed up, but even at the fair, I'll just wear a collared shirt. And, truth of the matter is, I'll sometimes bring an extra one in my backpack because it gets hot.
Yeah, you walk a lot. So what's the weather going to be like? Just as a last question, end of October. Is it going to be cold?
The October time is less rainy than the April fair. So you'll have more days that are clear and so on. It will run around 70 degrees at night, Fahrenheit, because it stays clear, so it does cool down a bit, but it could get high as the mid 80s. And I've been there when it's hit 90. So,
I wonder what's that 90, that's probably
dress cool.
30 Celsius, I think. That's what you're talking about.
It's approximately, or 28, 27.
So that's pretty warm for end of October. I'm happy about that. That's good. Now I know what clothes to bring. All right.
Yes. And bring a rolling bag or a knapsack or something because a lot of booths are going to give you catalogs.
That's a good idea. So I don't have to lug everything. Okay.
Yeah. And then we talked about understanding, choosing your niche, go to your niche, focus there, then keep your eyes open as you walk around for inspiration for how you can change your product and grow your product and so on. Look for good profits. Profits are key. I'll suggest you can go on Amazon for the Canton Fair workbook. It has piles of, it leads you through all the questions you should be asking. So that will make things easier for you there.
Yeah.
I think it's $10.95 or something.
This is great.
So all of that. And then lastly, be open because you might see things you haven't seen before. It was a few years back that I was at a fair and I saw these little fingerling monkeys. And the guys were just giving away for anyone that would give their business card. So I got one for a friend of mine whose girlfriend always teases him because he wants a monkey and she won't let him have it. And then just about over a year later, it was Christmas time, and these things were hot. They were selling all over the place. And I kicked myself saying, I could have gotten fingerlings at next to nothing. I could have tried to get an exclusive in the U.S. and so on. And I was completely blind to it. I just got it for someone's friend. Keep your eyes open. You're going to be seeing things that you've never seen before. Take a look. The Canton Fair Experience has a video up there so you can see what it's like. Just go out to YouTube and check it out. And for new people who are stuck trying to source, it will completely change your business. It's a month from now. It starts in the middle of October. Google it and then figure out a way to get there, because it's a very low investment for a life-changing, business-changing experience. And if you're ready to take it to the next level and learn how to do this with unique products, learn how to negotiate, learn how to validate, learn how to make sure that you have at least a 7X or 10X, then think about joining us at the Canton Fair Experience in April. We just opened up registration. So we are already open for registration for April, and for, I think it's a very short time. I think it ends December 1st. We have a pre-registration special where it's less expensive to sign up than it's ever been before. So it's less expensive than it is now.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And thanks for meeting with me, giving a lot of good tips. And I'll meet you in China.
Absolutely. Then we can talk about Turkish tea and Turkish coffee, and you can give me a list of all the places to visit.
That's right. I'll do that. See you there.
Bye-bye.